Today we're installing an S&B part number 755067 on our 2013 Ford F-150 Ecoboost. Now this 755067 from S&B, this will fit the 2011 to 2014 F-150 Ecoboost. Make sure that you check the product application to make sure that it fits your application. First thing we're going to do on our install, we've actually unhooked our battery cables. We've already got that done. Tools that you're going to need for this install, you're going to be needing an 8, a 10, and a 13 metric, 8, 10, and 13 metric socket and wrench. 7/16 socket and wrench, 5/16 nut driver, a Phillips screwdriver, flat bladed screwdriver, and a miscellaneous pack of Allen wrenches and torque wrenches as well. So, okay, again, sorry, got ahead of myself there. First step is go ahead and disconnect our negative battery cables, and then we'll get it started with our install. All right, I'm going to roll through the first parts of the install right now. What I'm going to do first off is I'm going to get the mass airflow sensor out of the truck. To remove that mass airflow sensor on our 2013 model, this will be the older models, is you simply pull up on this wire holder or this wire guide, and then the stud that it is on is actually an external Torx. It's going to be an E8. Your instructions show you removing it with a pair of pliers, which will work as well. But we're going to use the right wrench here, so go ahead and disconnect the electrical connector to the mass airflow sensor and get it out of your way. And I'm just going to go ahead and remove it while it's here, and I can already see it. So an E6 external Torx will pull this out. We can go ahead and remove that very carefully. Do not break the sensor. Okay. Just pull right straight up on it. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and be removing the box. Now our first clamp on ours is going to be on the back side, so we're going to use a long flat bladed screwdriver to go ahead and loosen up the clamp, our factory clamp. Can't see it very well here. Alright, we'll see if that'll let me get it here. Then take our 5/16 nut driver and loosen both of these clamps, the top side going to the passenger side, and then the actual clamp that takes the tube into the air box. Okay. We'll see if we can pull this bottom one off. It's going to need just a little bit more. Okay, now to remove the tube, once we have everything loose, remove it from the smaller side first, then your bottom side, and then just simply roll it off the box and remove your factory tube. Okay, now we're going to be removing our factory air intake box. To do this, you're going to need a 13 metric, a little extension I've got, and a 10 metric. So first off, to remove this, you're actually going to have to remove the door latch sensor here, the hood latch sensor here. So I'm just going to remove the electronics from it, and it is a 10 metric. Going to remove the sensor for right now. Get it out of my way for just a second. This will help you get your air box out, trust me. Now my 13, there's two 13 metric bolts on either side. Now you don't have to remove this box completely. All you're doing is trying to get access to this side intake piece. So what you're going to do for the box now is you're just going to simply work it back and forth to gain access to that intake piece. So now we're going to remove this little intake portion. Really no right way to do this, honestly. You know, you can push down on this with a flat tip screwdriver will probably be the ticket, just to push it out. There's two locking tabs inside here, if you can get a shot of them, Adam. There's two locking tabs here and here. These two locking tabs are what you're working to disengage this inlet tube from the box itself. Yeah. What's that? All right, now we're going to install our inlet grommet on our box. Now getting our inlet piece, our stock inlet piece out of our stock box, there's really no magic trick to it, man. We just had to wrestle with it to get it out. There's a clip on the bottom, then there's two plastic clips on the inside. So there's one clip here, then the two plastic clips that we showed you on the inside. Really, again, there's just no magic way to do it. The intake piece that S&B sends you will actually just go in and snap into place in place of your stock one, and it's rubber, so it's a whole lot easier to deal with. All right, now you just make sure you push it until it pops into place and everything's good to go there all the way around. All right, so now when you work with this box, make sure you watch your back coolant to your overflow bottle here. It'll actually leak a little coolant on you if you put it in a weird twist. So we're getting our intake back through our dust shield here on the side on the fender well, and then get it positioned back in its holes and just give it a tap with the palm of your hand, and that'll usually seat it. Okay, now we're going to reinstall our two 13 metric bolts. Make sure that your hood sensor is out of the way, which I did not do. Now we're going to reinstall our hood open sensor. We're going to get it back marked up just about to where the stock location was. .10 metric on it to tighten it back down. Okay, just snug it down. Don't forget to plug your electrical harness back into it. Okay, so now you're done. We're going to clean up our coolant there, what little bit of coolant that we had leaked, and we're going to clean it up, and then we're going to assemble our S&B intake. Okay, we're going to install the S&B portion of our intake now. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to put all of our couplings together. It's really easy to do. Just want to go ahead and put your clamps on everything and slide your couplings over. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my clamps on here. Turn to where I'm going to be able to get to them, and I'm just going to tighten them just a little bit so they don't fall off on me. No big deal, man. So we're going to go over, we'll do the small one first, small coupling first, and then over to the larger one. Remember to put your clamps on. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to install this hump coupling over the intake box. Okay. Now we're going to put our clamp over this as well. Actually got to loosen that one just a little bit to get it to go on, and it'll slide right over. All right, now what we're actually going to do there is we're actually going to slide the whole assembly through here, all the way through, and then we'll attach our filter, our S&B filter. We're going to attach it. So we'll take our filter now, we'll go ahead and put it right on the intake just like so. So what's left for us to do here now is here's the intake out of the truck and assembled. Okay, what we're going to do on this assembly, on our 2013, we did not have the crankcase filter. So what we're going to be doing is if you have a crankcase filter line, you will be installing out of the hardware package this push to connect fitting. Our truck doesn't have that, so S&B supplies you with a plug. It's a 3/16 Allen. That plug will be going right here. And we just snug it down. Okay, now we're going to install our mass airflow adapter. Our mass airflow for our later models, you'll receive both brackets in the S&B kit. The later models, the 2012s and up, they'll have the round hole in the center of them. You'll also want to install the gasket too. You want both of the arrows pointing towards each other. There'll be an arrow on the adapter plate. There's an arrow on the tube. You want to make sure that they are facing each other, which will leave your mass airflow sensor with only one way to go in. We're going to go ahead and tighten that down. Okay, now we're going to install our mass airflow sensor. Our mass airflow sensor can only go in one way. All right. The hardware for mounting it will be in the bag with the mounting plate as well, and it again is just a Phillips screw. We're just going to go ahead and tighten it down. All right, so now we've got everything. We're going to go through and tighten up our couplings. You know, just leave them loose enough to get in the truck, but tighten out to where they won't fall off. We're going to go ahead and install our intake. We're going to go ahead and set our intake in now. With our intake, first thing we're going to do is we're just going to line up our locking tabs over here on the side on the actual box itself, and we're just going to lower the box in. And as we're lowering in, we're going to be hooking up all of our couplings. Just like that. So that's got all of our couplings on. Both our big side of our intake and our small side of the intake. So now all that's left to do is go through and tighten up all of our clamps. .5/16 nut driver on all of these clamps. And you can see that positioning these clamps where you can get to them easily to tighten will definitely be to your advantage. Okay, now we're going to hook up our mass airflow sensor. Okay. And we've got our filter. It's tightened, our clamps are down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back through and we're going to clamp our box down using the stock clamps, all 3 of them, just like that. Now, the last part of our installation is to put our fancy S&B clear plastic lid over our air box and tighten the air box down with tighten the cover down with the Phillips screws and the grommets that are included in the kit. So this concludes our or completes our installation of our S&B intake on our 2013 F-150 Ford EcoBoost. Install time on this thing, honestly, probably going to take you about 30 to 45 minutes. Really simple, easy to do. Great little upgrade here. You're going to see a lot more responsiveness out of the turbo. You know, we should see some quicker throttle response and hopefully a gain in fuel economy as well as horsepower too. So these 4 Phillips screws are going to do it for us. So if you got a question on this installation or any other installation, just give us a call. Thank you.